We are Tungsten Nebula, and this is our Sprint 4 Milestone presentation. Our game is PhotoShootOut. It's a fast-paced local multiplayer arcade action game about taking wildlife photos. I'm Aaron Solon, a co-producer, designer, and programmer.
I'm Antonio Vasquez. I'm a level designer and narrative designer.
I'm Emma Christensen, a 2D and concept artist.
I'm Lia Fry, 3D animator and rigging artist.
I'm Xiao Ma, I'm a 3D model artist.
I'm Sadeem Boji, co-producer and system programmer.
I'm Jonathon, more of the AI programmer.
I'm Bendtsen, the UI and UX programmer.
And we're also working with Gaby and Dominic on sound effects and music.
And now onto our demo. One of the first things you can realize is that we have updated the Bigfoot model to include the different colors to help identify yourself. And as you can see with the blue player right here, they are walking through the river instead of dying, and it slows them down. So we have these guys in the game that's been here the entire time, and we have given them a slight update. So now when you try to use them, it launches a big shot of water straight into the sky, and then somebody after you can't use it until the water goes back down. This sprint, we focused a lot on player interactions, and stuff like tackling, photobombing, and the geysers help with that. And anytime there's an interaction between players, some text will pop up between them. We also wanted to get rid of the void aspect of our game by adding in all of these different trees and background elements that are inaccessible but make the game look nicer. With our game being set in the wild forest, it doesn't make sense to have a man-made bridge, so we have replaced it with rocks for right now. Also with the UI, anytime you take a photo, it can show 1 to 3 stars, and it will tell you how good the photo is. And right here is our scores. And we're still working on trying to make sure these are the best possible photos. Even though our game is local multiplayer only, you can use Parsec to play together online, and with 4 players and some fun interactions, you can get stuff like this.
Oh, that moose looked terrible.
I got a moose like mid-jump. And this interaction between 4 of our developers. I'm goated at my own game.
Let's go.
Don't photobomb me.
Oh, I think you photobombed me.
Our goals for Sprint 4 were to improve our menu and our level, and also incorporate more player feedback and balancing with the animals and the score. And we accomplished all of that while also including the Bigfoot player model.
All right, let's talk about design progress. We've worked more on our wolf design documentation to make it easy for John to implement the systems for that animal through code. We've also adjusted the design of our geyser mechanic to just be a little bit more fun and feel more interactive in the game. We've added more text prompts via UI that appears near the player when different things happen in the game to make it more clear what's going on. We've also added a lot more player interaction, including tackling mechanics when you dash into other players, and a blinding mechanic when you take a photo of another player from close by while they're facing you and they get blinded by the camera flash. And finally, we've adjusted the river to slow the players down instead of outright killing them, which just feels better for the game.
For the narrative of the game, we finalized the idea of Bigfoot being a nature photographer. The reasoning for this narrative is that if Bigfoot is the one taking the photos, then there aren't photographers out that could possibly see Bigfoot.
We've continued to iterate on our scoring system. We've adjusted the parameters for what's considered good facing to work better with an animal that's sort of facing away from you some, but not enough that it makes the photo feel like you should get penalized. We're also now checking for vertical centeredness as well as horizontal. So if you take a picture sort of from above an animal and it looks strange, you'll get a penalty for that. And we've adjusted the overall values for all of the balance to just get better feeling scores on your photos. The good photos feel like you're getting enough points, and the bad ones feel like you're getting, properly few points.
For level design, there was continued iteration on the level, with this sprint focusing on making the environment feel more alive and interesting. The bridge was replaced with a path of rocks through the river. In addition, the river is now able to be walked through with the addition of a river bed. And of course, the river now slows rather than kills. In addition, the out-of-bounds areas of the map have been added to in order to make the map feel less like an island in the void and more of a small part of a large environment.
Now on to art progress. One of our big focuses for this sprint was getting the Bigfoot textured and colored in and working on implementing UI elements. As you can see, the Bigfoot texture down there is just blocked in right now. Moving forward, we want to focus on texturing the vest to make it look like a separate piece from the model. And as for UI, we want to work on making some of the elements like the gear and the star look more low poly, like the leaves above them. Also, we're looking into different fonts. There's fonts for big text blocks on the left there, and also a title font on the right.
And for model designs, in this sprint, we focus on the play character Bigfoot. We have environment for its body shape and limbs. Also increase the size of hand and feet, so it will match Bigfoot its name. And the whole model will look more natural and comfortable than last one. And also keeps the model out segmented pieces for Bigfoot that passed our moose model. And also we decided to use the Polaroid as the play cameras. It is look like cute and matches our game photo system. And also we choose this old machine as our reference to build.
On the animation side, we finished up the moose animations while the Bigfoot model was getting finalized. Specifically, we added a jump to signify the moose noticed the player and was about to run away. After that, we created a rig for Bigfoot and blocked out a few poses to help build the animation controller for the player character. And finally, we started making some of the water assets, such as the geyser and river, and tried to stay consistent with our low poly style.
Now on to code. To reduce the lag of the game, we have implemented object pooling for all the photos and moved the rendering to the end of the game instead of in the middle of gameplay to decrease frame drop. And a new change to scoring is now multiplicative and additive. So if an animal is really far away, the photo gets hurt a lot, or if it's blocked by something.
On the UX side, we've done a lot of adjustments to user interface. So we've done changes mainly to the main menu in order to change the Ready Up panel to be made of more formalized UI art rather than just stand-in Unity assets. And we've added in a number of feedback boxes for each player in the level itself. So when they take a picture, they get a pop-up giving them an impression of how good their photo was, what the photo was it ranked highly, was it ranked lowly, in order to indicate how much that photo was worth. We've also begun working on getting menu controls for both keyboard and mouse in all of the user interfaces, so for the main menu and for the end of game panels. And we're working on getting the restarting and exiting of the game completely sorted out so that connections related to Rewired all work properly.
And on the AI side of things, we prototyped our wolf state machine and all the states necessary for it. And we've also implemented wolf specific behavior such as packing and fleshed out how that interacted with the state machine. Along with that, we've implemented the wolf FOV that will flee if it sees a player. And if a pack sees a moose, it will chase the moose off the scene.
We've also made some changes to the player controller to implement the new tackling and blinding mechanics. And as Ben said, we're making progress towards having full menu support for keyboard and controller input.
Now for a quick update on sound. With the help of Gaby and Dominic, we've been able to implement more ambient noise in the game and update our main level theme. And we're on track to have all our sounds implemented by the end of Sprint 5.
Looking forward for the next sprint. Our main goal is to implement the wolf mechanic, which we are close to pulling off. That's the last mechanic we're going to add. And then after that, everything we've got left is just implementing art and animation and polishing all the things we've already had. And then we'll be ready to finish up the project. Thank you.